Georgia Tech wide receivers. What did they have to say today in the media availability session when they talked to the media? We talked about that today and more. Jordan Allen, DeBron Gallant, and Isaiah Ferman talked to the media. We'll discuss a couple of clips and what they had to say. All right, what's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to another episode, man. Today we are talking Georgia Tech wide receivers. Couldn't make it down there today, but we're going to talk about some of the things they said in their pressers. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hype up the video. And join and become a member today. So without further ado, let's go and get right into it and just talk about some of the things that was said today with Georgia Tech. But first, we're going to start with their star wide receiver, Jordan Allen, and dissect and look at some of the things he had to say, and then we will obviously talk about Isaiah Ferman, who's expected to have a big role this year. So we're going to roll the clip of some things he had to say today.
You had a chance to play a little bit last season and get some quality reps, but now you're sort of stepping into this role where everyone's kind of looking at you as the guy. What has it been like for you to kind of jump from one extreme to the other?
It's been great. Just kind of just taking that next step in my game. Just elevating from last year. Just trying to build and just be a better player for my teammates to lean on. Just having playing time last year, and yeah, it's been great.
How has been the transition for you between Buster Faulkner's offense and George Gottschie's?
It's been great. Coach Gottschie is very creative. He came from the league, Ravens. Done a lot of great things so far with us. So he's just really just been coming together, just getting everybody the ball, just specializing in shifts and motions, just moving everything around, just making it hard on our defense, and just putting it all together.
Yeah, what have you learned from D-Hop so far? I know that DeBron kind of mentioned like how being positionalist has really kind of made him a better receiver, and he's got to learn a little bit about coverages through D-Hop, something that he'd seen in the league, things like that. Just how does that impact kind of really helped you since he arrived a couple weeks ago?
Yes, I think Coach Hop, he's definitely a perfect fit for our program. He's came in, it's been real smooth transition for him. He's been real easy guy to talk to, very comfortable just having conversations with him. He's a legend. So, any little bit and pieces he can give to our game, us young guys, everybody, just to elevate our game. It's been truly an honor just to be able to work with him. And it's been great.
There it is. As you guys see, we won't play the whole thing. I might get copyright, we don't know. But that's some of the things that Jordan Allen had to say, in terms of the pressure today. Obviously, go watch the full thing on Georgia Tech. Yellow Jackets right there. But yeah, I take away of some of the same questions we asked him in the spring, right? About, the difference between George Gossett and Buster Faulkner's offense. He's been asked that before in the spring. Him obviously getting better. And I think D-Hop was the big question of like how that has been, because you get to learn from him and see some of the things that he was able to do, obviously, in the NFL and how productive he was. And now he's bringing that to these receivers. I think it's only going to make them boys better. Now, obviously, if you're a great coach, doesn't mean you're always a great player, but he can coach them up into some of the bits and tidbits, releases, and different things you can do in order to create separation and how to just be an effective pass catcher as well. So I think that's big, having D-Hop in. And like I said, Jordan Allen, I expect to have a big year this year, man. I think he's going to turn things up. And he's going to be one of those guys this year for, obviously, the Yellow Jackets. So we'll leave that there. We're going to go to what Jafar Williams had to basically say.
Coach, you got a lot of faces in the room. You saw some of them in the spring. How has the progression been in the development of the group?
I think it's been positive. Obviously when you're lining up with a whole new group, like there's going to be some growing pains. But in terms of execution, we're still working to get where we want to be. But the effort's there, attitude's there. And those guys are all starting to come together and take ownership in what we're doing on the field.
I'll be the one to ask. Obviously, Najeh Wilkins got added to working around. What has he been like, and what's that experience been like for you to work together and have a guy like that with that level of pro experience in there?
Yeah, first thing I would say is intelligent man. And it's a pleasure to have that guy in the room. I think from the first day that we got on the phone and we talked, I think the biggest thing between both of us is making sure we're relaying the same message. And he has so many tricks and tools that are going to benefit our room. And it's a pleasure working with the guy. Man, he has the right demeanor when he approaches guys. He's very calculated on what he teaches. But man, that guy's awesome. You know, I think it really elevated our room in terms of having, all hands on deck and multiple guys being able to coach.
There it is. Two things that stood out to me to what he just said. He talked about him being calculated and how he coaches, and then the intelligence, right? Remember, D-Hop is also going to school, I think, back to Clemson for classes on finance and how to preserve your wealth and things like that. So, like I said, you don't get NFL wide receivers coming to come coach every single day. And that's obviously the connection with George Godsey and him being at Houston and him coaching him there as well. But I think it makes Jafar Williams' job easier. I think it makes the entire wide receiver room that much better. And I think we will definitely see that, on Saturdays and this room get upgraded. And I think Coach Key saw that and Godsey saw that. And I think that's why it was like, yo, let me call in the guy I know, works hard, knows what he's doing. And I think it's just going to elevate that room even more. And some of that concern can kind of dissipate just a little bit from that room. But again, go check it out on Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They posted about an hour ago. So please go check that out and see everything that he had to say as it pertains to that. Okay, I'm not going to carbon copy. I just want to get some of the stuff that they had to say. Last thing, we're going to go to Isaiah Ferman and see what he had to say.
How was the transition been for you from Elon to here, and how do you feel your progression?
It's been great. I got here in late January, right after I committed, and ever since I got here, it's been a smooth transition from coaching and players. It's just feeling like I'm home, and it's been really easy to get along with everybody. Understand, we all have a common goal, so it's easy to, everyone's in the same direction.
What's one thing about Coach Williams' approach that's different? What do you experience Elon?
I think overall, just understanding what the offense is trying to do. I'm not just running a post. Like there's a whole concept of things going on the backside or behind me that I have to be aware of, and be able to understand that we're doing it for a certain reason. So that's really helped me out in my transition here.
Okay, so that's about a minute clip. One thing that stands out to me early on with Isaiah Ferman is just the knowledge of the game. Right now, it could be because he's a veteran, but what stands out to me is that he kind of knows the process of what he needs to do, right? He's not just thinking, oh, let me get open, but like, how can this route help me get open, right? How can this route help my teammates, right? And I think just even in that 1 minute clip, you can tell that he has a very cerebral type of feel in the way he perceives and he looks at the game. And I think that's a big difference maker going forward. Like I say, his big size, big stature, he's 6'3", 6'4". Plus, they're going to need that big catching ability, that huge catch radius, and winning those 50-50 balls against, defenders and things like that. But I think more so, you're going to see a little bit of the route running. You're going to see more of the being able to know where the zones are for the defenders and knowing how to stay in those zones and be able to catch the ball and take advantage of the defense. So I think early on, like I said, y'all see my clip on YouTube, on X, and all those platforms as it comes to Isaiah Ferman. And I think Ferman could be in store for a big-time year with the Yellow Jackets, especially if he continues to add to his game. But I think just the mental aspect is what caught my eye early on what he just said in the press conference, because how he's approaching the game, not just thinking about himself, but his teammates and much others. So I think that's big time. And tomorrow's a big time day, man. It's a big time scrimmage on the flats. We're going to find out a lot. I got articles coming out about, 5 players hit the most of the game. Ferman's on there. Christian Garrett is on there. And several other players that I outlined in my SI article. But it's a big year for the wide receivers because we know defensive line-wise, this team is going to be better. We know linebackers they should have everything they need. 4 veterans coming back, 3 young guys to push them, right? Defensive back room, we will see, right? We know Savion Riley is obviously the veteran. We know about Tate Harris, right? We'll see how the cornerbacks look this year as well. Who's going to be the starter opposite side of Jalen Mbakwe, right? But we know overall this team should be better, much better defensively. But can the offense match the defense this year? I think that's one of the biggest questions. And can Berto Mendoza, instead of only connected with the tight ends, the Gavin Harrises, the Chris Corbos, the Kevin Roche Jr.'s, can these wide receivers create that separation and ball out? The Dalen Pensons, the Fermans that we saw, right? And obviously Jordan Allen. But I think it should be a big time year, and we're going to be able to see how good they are going to obviously be on the flats this upcoming season. So I'm excited. I want to do this quick video for my Tech fans and fan base and react to it. But I think it should be a big year for them going forward. But that's going to do it for today's video, Georgia Tech fans. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, much love for the support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And always sending peace and blessings.